It's Corso and Catone. Brought to you by Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Now for the real deal New England feel. Corso and Catone.
Welcome into Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. I'm Corso Catone. I'm smiling, Mark, because, it's Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas. Yeah, you love it, but you're like the Grinch.
Yeah.
The
Joe
Grinch.
is with us in the booth. You're watching us on YouTube, listening on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, 790 The Score in Rhode Island. And hey, you can give us a call on Heated Hotline, 855-313-PATS, 24/7. Leave us a message. Anything's on the table. You could tell us all the cool things you got for Christmas and why I'm getting rocks in my stocking and all that stuff. So give us a call, 855-313-7287. Or you can email us in our mailbag, corso.catone@gmail.com. Got a busy one today. In Weekly Rewind, we're going to talk the Kansas City game, Bruins, Red Sox, Providence College with our PC Fryer expert here. And, of course, Catone's comments. You never want to miss that. And we're going to hear from one of you in the nation in Heated Hotline. Then we're going to go and preview that Denver game coming up on Christmas Eve in the Pats Nation. And, of course, try to make you some money in Sunday spread. Last week wasn't so bad, Mark.
No, not so bad. Not so bad.
I
lost one, but not so bad.
Well, if you bet in game, you should be fine.
If we bet in game, we're good, yeah. But by the way, I told you the Patriots were losing. You really thought they were going to win that game Sunday.
I picked them. I picked against them on the show.
It
was after the show. I told you.
After the show, you changed your mind.
But, gentlemen,
hey,
Christmas is here.
It's the holiday season.
The holidays.
And I'll have next week, just for everybody, I'll have a special Catone's comment holiday version. Because I know something's going to set me off between now and December 26th.
Well, last year you pushed your neighbor down in the snow.
No, I didn't push him down in the snow. I may not have helped him up. He fell, but I don't know. But I didn't push anybody down.
That's what the lawyer said.
Yeah.
He pushed him.
Come on now. Jeez.
He definitely pushed him. So, well, there's a lot that went on in the week that was, and we want to get to it all in Weekly Rewind. Joe. Going back through the week, about a Weekly Rewind. So tell me if you heard this one before, but the Patriots played a game last Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern against the Kansas City Chiefs at home. And, Mark, what was the result?
Loss.
27-17. 27-17. They lost to Kansas City, which, though, I will say.
Oh, here we go.
They didn't get blown out. They didn't get blown out, though.
They didn't get blown out, but they didn't play to win.
Well, we're going to talk about that. So let's get into the offense, Mark. Talk about that.
So let me.
By the way, you were there. So
I was. Yes, I was there live. I went.
Well, there's some perspectives you wanted to say and talk about there.
I did. So I will say this: as bad as we think the receivers are, watching them live, they're worse. They're worse live than they are on TV. I'm just gonna put it out there for you. Okay. Now, I'm just going to ask this question because maybe somebody can explain this to me. So they come out on the opening drive. They go quick pace. It wasn't necessarily no huddle, but they really picked the pace up, Chris. A couple times I think they did go no huddle, but it was real fast. They got to the line, called the play, threw it, boop, quick, back to the line. It was quick. They had pace. He was only throwing 5 to 8 yard passes. He wasn't throwing the ball down the field, but they were progressively moving down the field. They get inside the red zone, typical Patriot penalty, right?
Yeah, to get behind the sticks.
Yep, behind the sticks, typical penalty. Go for the field goal. 4th round draft pick, by the way. 4th round draft pick. Missed the field goal.
Traded up
to him. Now they're complaining the balls weren't inflated properly. That's why they missed field goals in the first half. Okay. Anyways, now, but then, Chris, after that happened, they went away from that tempo. Like, I don't understand. Maybe you can explain it. I don't understand why they went away from the tempo. In fact, Ezekiel Elliott even made a comment later in the game. He said, yeah, we were down, and I don't know why we didn't pick the pace up. So, like, even the players are like, they don't know what the hell's going on out there. But, Chris, a couple of things. So, Zappy. I'll talk about Zappy. So, Zappy,
You want his
Chris,
numbers?
give us the numbers.
He was 22 of 31, 180, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Okay. So Zappy, Chris, comes on that opening drive, looks pretty good. Now, they get the ball back. He does throw touchdown to Hunter Henry. I think 2 to Hunter Henry or 1?
1. He threw 1 touchdown.
1 to Hunter Henry. So on the touchdown to Hunter Henry, Chris, everyone said, "Oh, what a great throw!" In fact, on the way home, I'm listening to the post game, and they're replaying highlights of the game, and I don't know if he's drinking jungle juice. I don't know what he's drinking during the games. Scott Zolak, who I love, Scott Zolak, but we got a quarterback. How about that throw? We got a quarterback. We don't need Mac Jones, but you got a quarterback. First of all, Chris, he threw behind. The throw was behind Hunter Henry. It was a touchdown. The throw's behind Hunter Henry. If he leads him, it's an easy catch. He throws it behind him. He's going to turn and try to catch the ball and stumble, number one. Number two, I don't know what the safety was reading. Zolak says, we threw it to double coverage. You didn't throw it to double coverage. The safety fell asleep. That ball should have been picked. Okay, yeah. Linebacker can't get there. The safety should have been there and picked it because the throw was behind him. So I don't know. Anybody who's obsessed with Zappy, that was a horrible throw, Chris. The interception was as bad as any throw Mac Jones has made other than the Indianapolis game.
He threw it to there wasn't even anybody flashing.
Yeah. So this whole craziness about, they got a different pace. They got this, they got that. With Zappy, that throw, Chris, you know what that throw told Belichick and O'Brien? Yeah, this kid's as bad as we thought he was, because the rest of the game, they did nothing. If they went to a shell, and that was early in the second half, it became conservative. And it was and to my point to you at the beginning of the show, they didn't play to win. They didn't, because after that, Chris, they did nothing to try to win the game. It was just, maybe my defense can win this for me. We're not winning it on offense. And they went into a shell. And the last thing I'll say is,
ridiculous against Mahomes and Kansas City.
Chris, second half against Pittsburgh, second half against Kansas City, he has a 29 passer rating. Just let me repeat that. A 29 passer rating. So you know what? All those Zappy fans, get out, please. Close your mouths. I don't want to hear it. Zappy stinks. Jones is broken. He stinks. They both stink. But Zappy stinks too. Let's be honest, Chris.
I mean, one time is, an occurrence. The next time it becomes a trend. It's exactly what we talked about. The reason why you and I don't hop on the quarterbacks as much is because there's really no, it's really no great option. I'll tell you this,
Chris, where was Douglas? Why wouldn't you? They still don't feature the kid Douglas. They still don't.
Yeah. Douglas only got, God, Jalen Reagor, he stinks. Douglas had five looks. He caught 3 of them. His long was 16 yards. Everything was short. Everything was, 5 yards lateral, nothing. There was only a couple of balls downfield. Look, Mac Jones, I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. He's a better quarterback than Bailey Zappi, period. He's a better quarterback. That's it. Zappi looks a little more comfortable in some of the play action stuff and the movements and things like that. But intellectually, looking at the game and understanding the game, Mac Jones is better. He's broken. He's mentally broken, but he's still a better quarterback. Bailey Zappi is a one-read guy. Look, there's a reason why you go in 2 games in a row, your second half stinks. You got a 29 passer rating. There's a reason, because OCs get into the locker room or they're making adjustments on the sideline, or DCs, and it's easy. It's easy to make an adjustment with him. He's a first-read quarterback. Which means, what did I say last week when we broke down this Pittsburgh situation? When you blitz the hell out of Zappi, you bring guys from different spots. Spagnuolo, we said this in the pregame. This was what they were going to do. They're going to come after him. They're going to pick their spots. They're going to disguise some things, but they're going to bring heat. And he's not going to be able to do anything because he can't go to another read. He can't hit a hot read. He's not, that's not who he is. And on top of it, I'm a little pissed off at O'Brien because move him out of the pocket, Mark.
Yeah, nothing.
Roll him out. And on top of it, he's about 4'8". He can't see over the damn line. How many batted balls does he have?
Chris, he should have had another interception. A ball was right in the guy's hands. He just dropped it on a batted ball. And that was the possession right after the pick. And then after that, they really went into a shell.
So again, I mean, you could have done some things to take advantage. He has some mobility.
Yeah.
He will get out. So roll him, move him, get him out of the pocket.
Chris, listen, I said this to you. Man. I said this to you off air last week. Listen, Malik Cunningham, I get it. Listen, I'm not saying he's going to be a star in this league, but you should have put him on your active roster because why didn't you use him like New Orleans used Taysom Hill? You mean to tell me you couldn't come up with a package where you're using him 7 or 8 times a game and try to get some production out of him because he's quick, he's a slasher? Why? That's why O'Brien is his offense is archaic. You couldn't figure out a way to use him like Taysom Hill? Bring him in 8, 9 times a game just for that type of stuff. And they didn't do it, Chris. Belichick, O'Brien, it's old. It's old.
Because they don't really want to win. They don't really want to win these games now. That's it. They're in the mode, which means Belichick's not going anywhere.
Maybe. I don't know, Chris.
Well, anyway, look, defensively, because I want to get to the Bruins before we go to break. Defensively, listen, I gave him credit last week for the last several games, and Mr. Catone pointed out smartly that every time they play a good team, you see the deficiencies in the Patriots. And once again, Mark, where is the biggest glaring issue on this defense?
Middle of the field.
Middle of the field. You have the touchdown to that, not the touchdown, the long screen play. Who's 25?
Edwards-Helaire.
So they did this multiple times in this game. Bentley, you got a tight end that's dragging kind of a skinny post, dragging across the field. You got 3 guys going with him and leaving that curl to flat zone wide open. That happened all day long. When you play a team like Kansas City, like Miami, Buffalo to some extent, San Francisco, when you play these kinds of offenses, they work hard to get the middle of the field open. That's what they do. They put motion together. They motion away. They pull guys out of the middle of the field to open things up for their tight ends. Kansas City's filled with those Rice, those guys that are like Debo kind of guys. They can be in the backfield. They come, they're crossers. They have speed, athleticism. Yeah. And when you watch film against the Patriots, you quickly understand. Andy Reid's looking at this saying, okay, I got it. I'm going to put motion together. I'm going to get these guys in and out of the backfield, and I'm going to open up the center of the field, and I'm going to make Tavai and Bentley cover guys. How many times you see Tavai in the touchdown? One of the touchdowns, he threw that pass, that nice pass, kind of, beautiful play by Kansas City. But Tavai was flat-foot, just standing there looking. He didn't know what the hell he was going to do on that play. He can't these are not middle linebackers in today's day and age, period. That was what was exposed in this game to me. And the secondary, again, not good enough. I don't know what the drama is with J.C. Jackson. If it's a mental health issue, God bless. I hope he gets the help he needs. Okay, because I don't think it's a discipline issue. But this secondary is depleted and they're not good. But to me, it's the middle of the field, Mark. And that was the story. That was the story of this game.
I agree, Chris. And listen.
And by the way, the officials sucked in this game too.
They did.
I never talk officials, but they sucked. The Mario Douglas penalty that killed that drive in that first drive, face mask on offense. Get the hell out of here.
That was awful. That was BS. That was BS. Yeah. That was a BS call. But Chris, the other thing, just on defense, lastly, Mahomes, Chris, did not have a good game. Okay, he threw behind guys. He had guys open. He missed. They scored 27 points. Kansas City very easily, Chris, could have scored 37-40.
Oh,
he did not have a good game. And granted, his receivers, Tony stinks, shouldn't be on a roster. But Mahomes did not have a good game. He was visibly frustrated a little bit, but he missed guys, Chris, that were open. So what you said about the middle of the field, it was even worse if you saw it live. And Mahomes just missed people.
They're not repeating. This is not a team. They offensively they're not going to be able to hang with Miami and teams like that. That interception he threw, it was a great play by Mapu, but it was a worse throw it was late. He threw off his back foot and Mapu took the ball away. So middle of the field though, Divide Bentley done. Mapu, I don't know, maybe that's sort of an answer for Duggar, but they've got to get better there. So Mark, and the other thing before we get the break, just quickly wanted to talk about the Bruins a little bit. So, Pastra, okay? Patra.
Patra.
They bring them they send them over to the juniors to play in what? Sort of an Olympic sort of thing, a world tournament or something. Now,
it's a prestigious junior tournament, yeah.
It is. But is this more of the first step in his getting brought down? Do they not?
I don't know about it. I don't know. Rather than sending him down, Chris, I think they think he needed a break. He needed to work on some things. So rather than doing that, I think they allowed him to go here. He's off for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. He'll be gone. And then you're going to get him back into the swing of things. So you probably won't see him for 4 or 5 weeks. So rather than sending him down, Chris, this is his ship down because the competition he'll be playing there, I don't know how good it is, but some teams are good, some aren't. So I think this is, rather than doing that, Chris, that's what this assignment is.
Yeah. I hope they hang with him. I hope they stick with him, and I hope they
do too, because Chris, listen.
Ride it out.
Chris, they have no playmaking or creativity in their bottom six. He was their chance to have that. Other than him, Chris, what do they got in that bottom six?
No, because you take Coyle and you move him up to in the top six with Zaka, and there's nothing left underneath.
There's nothing left, Chris.
Which tells you what? You
need, first of all, Chris, you need to trade one of those goalies.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to bring in a center. You're devoid in that position,
or at least move a winger over and bring a money winger over.
Move somebody over. Chris,
scoring.
This team has lost 6 leads in the third period.
Yeah,
6
and 2 overtime losses in a row.
Yeah, in a row, and they've lost 6 leads in the third period. They've had going into the third period. Lack of execution. They can't clear the puck. Their defense, which is supposed to be their strength, has had all kind of lapses. So they need to refocus and figure some things out. And I think we're going to see about this coach now, Chris.
Yeah.
Last year everything was easy. We're going to see about the coach.
They're still up there. They're still winning games. But
they are.
They're deficient in a center that can transition back on defense too, and that's an issue.
Yeah.
It's an issue. So. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We're going to keep it going. Let's hear from you on that, on the Bruins and the Patriots and Heated Hotline in our mailbag. This portion of Corso and Catone was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal New England Field, Saturdays, noon to 1 p.m. Eastern. Sponsorship opportunities are available. You can get Mr. Catone to give you a nice read, sell your brand. I'm telling you, if he can't sell it, nobody can. So tune in 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern, Corso and Catone. Hey, when we come back, going to continue in Weekly Rewind, talk a little Red Sox and baseball and the PC Friars. All of that and more coming up.
Mark, I'm serious. I think I lost my mind.
Certainly, it was an exciting show.
I want Murray.
That's
it.
What is wrong?
Get him on this damn show.
You lost your mind tonight.
That's all I have to say.
Lost your mind.
What are you writing now?
So I'm working over here. You're talking about nonsense. I'm working.
That's why we are the real deal New England Field. It's going to be real.
I'm telling you, Joe, when you see a promo like that, back in with Corso and Catone, when you see a promo like that, it really, what's the matter with us, huh?
Really gets the energy going, doesn't it?
What the hell is wrong with us, Mark?
Listen, my New Year's resolution. New Year's is coming quick. I'm going to be calm. New Year's resolution.
Until the minute they decide they're keeping Belichick. That's it. And he's going to lose his mind. So, Mark, listen, lot going on. You talked a week ago or so about Major League Baseball. Nobody cares. Nobody's paying attention. It's free.
No.
Well, there's a lot of buzz about this Yamamoto, the pitcher coming in from Japan. Red Sox in on this. Well, we'll go to that second. Yankees for sure in on this. Mets are in on this. Maybe a couple of other teams.
Dodgers are in
on this. And the Red Sox for a bit. But are they really? First of all, it's going to cost you what? $300 million just to
at least just to get to the table.
just to get to the table. So,
and you're not going to sign him for 3. So I think the Red Sox put up the 3 to get to the table, so they could say to their fans, "Hey, we're trying." But they know full well, Chris, it's going to cost you more than 3. But the 3 got them to the table so they could play the game.
And he's not really a dual threat. This is not like Ohtani.
No, he's just a pitcher.
He's a pitcher. So
here's my thing, Chris, with this guy, though. No matter who signs him, these pitchers from Japan, Chris, have a history of always being injured. Ohtani, Tommy John, Tanaka, Tommy John, all these guys that end up coming there because they say, oh, well, it's a different type of baseball. They only pitch every 6 days, but they don't use their bullpens, Chris. These guys pitch every 6 days. They're throwing 130 pitches, though, every time they pitch. So the wear and tear in their arms, he's not a big guy. So like Ohtani's a big guy. This guy's not a big guy. You got to be I'm a little cautious about the Yankees putting up $350 million, say, to get a guy like this, but I think they're all in. Definitely all in.
Well, Yankees are in a tough spot. They kind of have to be.
Yeah.
In this situation. Because they can't
And the Red Sox, Chris, do too. They got no pitching at all.
Well, the Red Sox are a little different, in my opinion, because the owner doesn't care anymore.
Okay.
So the owner could care less. I mean, is it evident? I mean, what have they done? They've done anything? The free agency. I mean,
Well, they claimed they were going to be involved, but involved in what? They haven't done anything.
Talking about second base. They're still. I mean, it's really not. They're really not a major player.
No.
Much to the dismay of everybody, all of you out there. That they're just not. It's not who they are anymore.
No.
And all they did in Breslau, bringing him in, it's just replaced. They placed Hein Bloom with another guy that's like that.
Placed him with a guy that Cora could get along with, and Cora's okay with that. And I think this guy's okay with keeping the seat warm because everyone's basically saying Cora will eventually end up in that role. So
right. So it's again. I mean, Red Sox fans, look, don't expect much improvement. This is going to be another situation, another 500 year, where they're hanging around and they just fizzle because they're not doing anything. The owner's not going to spend money. I don't think he really cares anymore about the product out there. I think his attention is other places. And anybody out there who thinks that you're in on this Yamamoto, if you're the Red Sox, think again. But where does he go? You think the Yankees will? Yankees, Mets, Dodgers.
It's going to be Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, one of those 3 teams.
I mean, are the Dodgers really going to do this after bringing Ohtani in?
And they got the kid Tyler Glasnow from Tampa Bay.
They don't care, do they?
Who's got a big the way they structured Ohtani's contract, Chris, tells me that they were going in for a big splash. They traded for Glasnow, and now this will be their final piece of the puzzle. But we'll see.
Because they're pissed off. Yeah. They're pissed because of what happened. I mean, they got bounced. That was ugly.
2 years in a row, Chris.
That was ugly for them to get bounced by the Diamondbacks like that.
Yep. It was real ugly. Considering the Diamondbacks payroll is like nothing, and you got this payroll, and you can't even get out of the series, right?
So
come on,
And then shifting gears, Mark. Hey, listen, our PC Fryer alumnus here. You were at that
great
game.
I was at a game. I was at the game. Great game.
That's a signature. That's a marquee signature win, is it not?
Yes, it is. Number 16 in the country. Listen, Marquette can't win here for whatever reason. The guard for Marquette, Tyler Kolick, is a local kid, Cumberland graduate. Went to Cumberland High School, Tyler Kolick. Went to George Mason, went in the portal, transferred to Marquette, turned into a Big East Player of the Year last year. So he was there. He was energized, playing in front of his home crowd, was talking a little bit of junk at the beginning of the game, hit a few baskets, was drawing back and forth with a couple of guys with the bench, the PC bench, and then PC put their best defender on him and kind of calmed that down. Yeah. PC played a good game. They listen, they play a different type of game than they played when Cooley was here. You could see Kim English telling them to push, and he wants them to make it an up-tempo defensive game, right? And they played great defense, Chris. Yeah. I mean, they held Marquette in check. They played great defense. They played Butler Saturday, 12 o'clock. If he wins, they'll be ranked. They're at the Amica Pavilion. at the Amp, 12 o'clock Saturday. Last thing I'll say about PC, Chris, is Bryce Hopkins has to play, though. He missed a lot of free throws. He looks like he's in good shape, but he got leaner. He's not as big as he was last year. And I think losing some of that physicality, I think he has to adjust a little bit to that. Because he didn't have the greatest of games Tuesday night, but they're going to need him moving forward. And then just lastly, the Big East in general, Chris. Number 6 team in the country goes down. UConn, number 3 in the country, Connecticut, goes down last night to Seton Hall. Number 12 team in the country, Creighton, goes down at home to Villanova. Top to bottom, the Big East is the best conference in America. Right?
Yeah, Creighton lost.
Creighton lost. Yeah, school. Maybe your son's school. Right?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But and listen, it's really nice to see. You got to give English kudos here, because we talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago, where this is not really a lineup that they're not made for the system he wants to run.
No, they're coolest guys.
He's convinced to stay there. Yep. And so that has to filter through. And even with that, I think they're playing good ball. So
they absolutely
pay attention to it. Pay attention to it all season long. So Weekly Rewind was presented by Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. CorsoLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. Hey, buckle up. Mr. Catone in Catone's comments is next.
No one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help.
Time for Catone's comment!
So, this week, listen, 3 games left for the Patriots. 3 games. That's it. Okay? Denver, Buffalo, Jets. And then it's over. Season's over. And then we get to the offseason. And I've listened to everybody over the last 2 weeks give their theory on Bill Belichick, okay? And I've listened and I've given some input on what I think and don't think. But listen, this week I've just had enough, and I got to explain something to people out there, because I don't know what some of these people around New England, analysts, whatever they want to call themselves, are actually thinking. Okay, couple of things. I was in the camp of Belichick's getting fired. He's gone. He's done. They gotta get rid of him. Gotta get rid of him. And I still think you should. But I've now switched what I actually think may happen.
Are you kidding me?
No. Hey, Joe, this is my segment. He can't interrupt me like that. Listen, I'm not switching because I don't think he should go. He's a horrible GM. He needs to go. I'm firmly in the camp. He needs to go. But do I think Kraft's going to pull the trigger? I don't think so, and here's why. I know Chris has brought up numerous times on the show, well, he's not going to pay the $25 million. He's not going to pay that $25 million. It's not just about the $25 million, okay? Tom Brady was brought back this year for, Patriots Hall of Fame. Then they're going to bring him back again when they will retire his jersey. They absolutely will. They're going to put a statue in front of the place. They absolutely are. Excuse me, got a little tickle. They absolutely are.
That's because you have a tickle because you are contradicting yourself.
I'm not contradicting myself. Now don't interrupt me. Listen, it's all about money. Every time Brady comes here, it's marketing. It's money. They made that silhouette of the quarterback throwing the ball. They put it on everything that's announcing Brady's coming back. Listen, Brady's in on that. Why do you think Brady kissed and made up? It's money. It's future money for Kraft. He's going to drag this out for 2 or 3 years with Brady. If you got the greatest coach to ever play, a coach in the history of the, how do you extend that if you fire him or he leaves because you forced him out? It's not about the 1 year, $25 million contract. You think he's going to get Belichick back for a red jacket ceremony? You think he's going to get Belichick back when they honor, the 20-something anniversary of the Patriot championship, and they got Brady out there. And, does he think Belichick's going to participate in any of that? No, he's not. It's about marketing in the future, not just about the $25 million. This matters. This legacy is money for him. Don Shula's record, all of this stuff isn't just about 1 year and $25 million. It's about the future legacy. And that money, which is, you can't even put a number on it because you don't even know what it is. So that's what, as I'm sitting here, the light bulb went off because, sometimes I'm a little slow. You know what I mean? And the light bulb went off, and I'm like, but Jesus Christ, it isn't just about the $25 million for 1 year. It's about the future money that's involved in this whole Brady Belichick legacy in that era. And that's why he had to bring Brady back, and he did. But Brady's back. Don't let Brady fool you. Not because he's in New England for life, because money's involved for him too. But if he loses Belichick, he loses that money for future too. He loses how that story ends, and how do you keep massaging it and playing it over the next 2, 3, 4 years? That's gone. 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, that's gone. If this ends badly, okay. And the last thing I'll say about Belichick, because I firmly believe he should go. I do firmly believe that. But the more I'm thinking about it, I think Chris is probably right for the reasons I just explained. But I'm going to say this. Listen, this football team, every time they face adversity, they crumble. They get a penalty. They throw an interception. I don't know what Belichick did in the past, but what he doesn't understand is today's athlete, and I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong. The world has changed. This isn't 2001, 2003, 2004. Today's athletes talk about image, rights, privilege. When Belichick was in his prime, it wasn't about that. It was about obligation. It was about responsibility. That's what that was about when those players played. And that's what he preached. So, yeah, it has changed. And I don't think he's the right coach for this team anymore. But I do think he's going to stay, because I think Kraft isn't just concerned about the $25 million. It's the future earnings off of Belichick and Brady. But Brady's already back in the fold, Chris. And stop interrupting me when here we go. And there it is, Chris. There it is. For those of you on 790, Chris has the ticket from the game, the Philadelphia game. They had Brady on it, and they got the silhouette of the quarterback. That's the marketing, Chris, I'm talking about. That's it. That's it. That's what it's about.
So, sometimes he's a little slow, Joe. Sometimes.
Well, he did give you credit, so
Give him credit. And really, that's why I started coughing, because I had to give him credit, Joe.
You're coughing. That's the badness coming out of you. That's why you're coughing. You know what my father used to say to me all the time. It's the badness coming out of you.
But Chris,
anyway,
listen. What do you think of that theory?
Well, I've been in the camp of he's not going anywhere for all this time. And again, there's a piece of me, we talked about this. I don't want to see it happen. I don't know that any real fan wants to see it happen. You'd like to see the miracle take place and him be able to stay and adjust the way he's doing things. I know it's not going to happen, but I agree with you on all points. With the legacy portion of this, absolutely, because that's a number. There's a number there that Kraft has in his brain.
Of course,
and I also think he's the beaten dog on this, because what he's had to concede to get Brady back here to put that jersey on again. Yeah, that bad taste in his mouth. I can't imagine he's sitting there saying, God, why did I, there's no way I should have allowed that to happen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, there's no way I should allow that to happen. And Belichick is not built. He's a different animal altogether. Like you said, he gets fired from here. Everything, New England is dead in his eyes. That's it. It's over. He'll come back to go to Nantucket, whatever he does over here, but he'll never step foot in Gillette again, unless it's with another team and organization. He will never, ever do it. Ever. And Kraft is worried about that. The only other thing I'll say is the other component to this is that, the $25 million. Belichick is in the driver's seat. And for all of you who think he's not, that Kraft's just going to pull the trigger and all of a sudden stand up and be heard after 24 years of not, Belichick has been able to talk Kraft into whatever he wants. If you people think that Billy O'Brien is here because Kraft pulled that trigger, you're nuts. You're crazy. Bill O'Brien, that was predetermined 2 years ago that this guy was going to be replacing Josh McDaniels. When McDaniels left, it was that. It was Bill O'Brien, I got the deal worked out with Saban, and this is what's going to happen. Bob Kraft had nothing to do with it. Bill Belichick could sell him a pile of crap right now. And he's going to do it. And he's been doing it. He's been doing it for 24 years. He'll sit down with Kraft, and he'll tell Kraft anything he wants to hear. Okay, Bob. Okay, you're right. Yeah, maybe we need some help picking the players. So let's bring Dimitroff in. Let's bring Robinson in. Let's bring Ziegler in. All Bill's guys. When in the meantime, he's picking the guys anyway. He's deciding who's going to play. And Kraft will eat it up with a spoon. He'll just grab it with a spoon and say, okay, that's fine. Because he's been doing what he was told. Kraft's been doing what he's been told for 24 years by this guy. So why would that change? On top of which, I'm going to pay $25 million and now get a backbone over here with Belichick? No. Bill's back. He's going to do what he wants. We're going to take an offensive tackle in the league, and I'm going to start rooting for the Detroit Lions, period.
Okay.
Whoa.
There we go. You heard it here first.
Whoa.
Belichick's back. Write it down.
Mark, you're right. I mean, I think you're right. I think you we're thinking along
Chris,
the right
does
lines.
anybody really think that Tom Brady put that old school number 12 jersey on and ran down the field and said, let's effing go? You honestly think he did that because there wasn't something in it for him?
This is what's in it.
All
Look
of
at
a
it. Look at the
sudden,
logo.
yeah,
They made a
course.
logo.
All of a sudden, you think he forgave the fact that Kraft let him walk out the door? Of course he did it.
And everybody out there that thinks that Kraft, I don't know what kind of I hopefully we're going to have Greg Bedard on of the Boston Sports Journal soon, because he has good insight on this stuff. He's a good, knowledgeable guy, and I don't know what the internal contractual situation is. If Belichick can veto any type of a trade situation, I don't know. But let's assume that that's the case. If those of you who think that Bob Kraft's going to make a trade and trade Belichick for a first-round pick, Belichick is never, and I repeat, never going to allow a team he's going to get rid of a first-round, second-round, third, any pick that he has to then be behind the eight ball on. He will never allow. And why? Because he could just play chicken with Kraft. He's under contract. He's going to wait $25 million. What's Kraft going to do?
He did let Kraft give up a draft pick to bring him from the Jets, right?
But
he did. But that was go ahead, Joe.
On Mark's point, though, in the future, he's got what 16 wins to beat Shula, 17, right?
A little more than that, but yeah, I mean,
yeah.
But Mark, that was a much different situation.
Years of wins, they actually have to win to make those, right?
Yeah.
So you're right, Joe.
Wow, the best quarterback and the best coach of all time not be on the asterisk
right.
of the Patriots.
Right. And that's the beaten dog that Kraft is. But Mark, that was a different situation. They weren't 6 rings. He didn't have 6 rings under his belt as a head coach. It was a whole different animal back then. He's never going to let it happen because he knows he can just stand pat and play chicken with Kraft because he's under contract. He's going to get paid $25 million. He's going to say, God, fire me. Fire me. I'll go get a job somewhere else, and you're going to pay me anyway.
Yeah.
The hell with it. The only thing that Kraft can do, Mark, is basically say, okay, fine. Your kids are gone. We're firing this one. We're getting rid of that one. We're getting rid of this one. And then wait till 2 games into the season and can him when he lose the first 2 games in a row. Now, Belichick has nowhere to go for the whole season. He's got to wait till the offseason so his name starts to get stale as the year passes. He's 73. That's the only thing Graf can do.
And if he
doesn't
does
want
that,
to do it, though.
And if he does that, to your point,
burn that bridge.
It's bad enough if he gets rid of him at the end of the season. He does it 2-3 games in. That bridge is really burned.
Burned, blown up.
Forget it.
Not even burned. It's blown up. Mark, you're right.
You know?
And I think this is the perspective not enough people are seeing right now. The logistics of this. So good stuff, Mark. Catone's comments was presented by Corso and Catone, 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern every Saturday on all the outlets, YouTube, iHeartRadio, 790 The Score. Sponsorship opportunities are available. Email us at corso.catone@gmail.com. Hey, we come back, want to hear from one of you in the nation in Heated Hotline. No flipping.
Mark, I'm serious. I think I lost my mind.
Certainly, it was an exciting show.
I want Murray.
That's
it.
What is wrong with you?
Get him on this damn show.
You lost your mind tonight.
That's all I have to say.
Lost your mind.
What are you writing now?
So I'm working over here. You're talking about nonsense. I'm working.
That's why we are the real deal New England Feel. It's going to be real.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal New England Feel. All right, Joe, let's hear from somebody in the nation. What do we have today? We have a call. We have a mailbag. What are we doing?
Yeah, a mailbag. Hey, guys, this is James in Cranston. So here we go again with Joe Mazzulla. Same crap at the end of the games, not calling timeouts and flat out watching from the bench with no friggin' clue. How long before they realize this guy can't do the job and should sit there with a notebook taking notes while Cassell runs the team? He's a clown. Get rid of him. Love the show.
Wow.
Show. James, thank you for the email in Cranston. We appreciate that. So, Mark, well, let's get right into it. I mean, I've not been, I haven't been too much in Joe Mazzulla's camp. What do you think about what Paul is saying?
I'm assuming the call is talking about
James.
the Golden
Paul? James? What's the name?
James. I'm assuming
sorry.
James is talking about the Golden State game, right? Obviously, right? Which just happened this week where they blew this lead, in the fourth quarter. And in typical, listen, so let's just clarify. Porzingis did not play, okay? So let's clarify that for those people who missed the game. Porzingis didn't play. Yeah. However, it was typical Joe Mazzulla, Chris. Just keep chucking threes. I think they might have taken a record for 3-pointers in a game, missed a ton of them. And at the end of the game, they asked him about the game. And he said, well, we played well. I thought we stuck to our system. We did what we want to do. We just got to execute a little better and hit some more shots. And we missed a lot of layups. And he kept bringing up, and we missed a lot of layups. Yeah, but you took 73s for crying out loud and missed 60% of them, 70% of them. But he's just obsessed with this system, Chris, of what he does. And he thinks it's okay. And then at the end of the game, they got a timeout left. They get the ball over half court, call a timeout, but set up a play. Nope. Tatum, one-on-one, step back jumper like they always get, Chris. But you know what the sad thing is? Mazzulla's okay with that. That's what he wants, Chris.
Yeah.
How is that okay as an NBA coach of a team with this much talent? Because listen, Chris, Golden State is not good this year at all. They're not good. They shouldn't be on the same. They should not be competing with you. Yet Curry does what Curry does at the end of every game against us, and it shouldn't have been, Chris. Even
58.
without Porzingis.
Just so you know, 58 against Golden State. This is what I was looking down for. I was looking this up.
Yep.
58 attempts. They made 17.
Okay. That's insanity, Chris.
41%, something like that.
That's insanity. But he was okay with it.
I know. And so it's funny because when you hear him, James, when you hear him in the post game, and he's knowledgeable. I mean, he understands the game, he understands concepts and these things and so on. But it seems like when he gets out on the court with them in pressure situations, okay, it seems like he just kind of fades away, doesn't it? I mean, look, against Golden State in that same game, we'll talk about Golden State, okay? Now, by the way, they followed up with against Sacramento, and they took 42. So they took 8 less.
And they won big. They won big. And
won
Tatum
big.
doesn't play in that game, but Porzingis did.
Right. I will get to that in a second because I want to talk about that. The Porzingis effect.
Yeah.
So I'm watching down the stretch, and I get so pissed off about this timeout use, and you're tied up. They miss a shot. You get the rebound. I think Holiday got the rebound. Okay. And there's probably, I don't know, 10 or so seconds left. And he just lets the play go. And it's the same result. Mark, I haven't seen a result that went in their way, their favor. I have not seen. And even in that game, in the end of the third quarter or whatever, every time Tatum gets a ball in his hands, he can't make a shot at the end to win it, tie it, go ahead. This doesn't happen. It's dysfunctional, disorganized, and he won't bang the timeout and take it out and make and draw up something, Mark. Why?
Chris, let me ask you this, though. They get to overtime. Tatum touched the ball once.
Yeah.
Up until the 1 minute mark of the overtime. He touched the ball once, and then with a minute left, they got him the ball again. Are you kidding me?
It's ridiculous. And so again, that end of game management with him, I'm not saying his overall scheme doesn't work, but they fade away from it. So I'm not sure how much, he maybe as he gets more experience, he can crack the whip on them more and they'll pay attention. We can get a little more pissed off at them. Fine. I'll give you that because he's young. But fading away at the end of the game, you got to call a timeout there, man. To call a timeout. He's so concerned about, well, I don't want them to draw up a good defensive stat. You look disorganized, disheveled. You don't know. Guys there's no spacing. It's Tatum shooting a fall away. It's terrible. I hate that. That's the one thing that pisses me off. I'm with James on that. Why is that happening? But Mark, talk about Porzingis for a minute, because when I looked at the Golden State game and I looked at the Sacramento Kings game, okay, perfect analysis, perfect comparison, because you're missing Porzingis in that game. There's a lot of perimeter. You saw all the perimeter shots, okay? There's not a lot of movement, not a ton of spacing. I'm not saying they didn't have good looks at the threes, but now they're not making them, okay? Now what? So Porzingis is off the court. You basically virtually have no rim protection anymore when he's gone. And so I'll argue to you that I think he's creeping up to be now number 2 most important person on this team. Because what you saw in the Sacramento game is his ability to rim protect allows things to happen at the top of the key. It allows them to fight under and over screens and feel okay about doing that off picks and things like that, because you know that you got somebody down low that's going to protect that rim, to the point where the Kings weren't even trying. It got to the point where they get down there and they would have to kick out. They weren't even trying to shoot over him. It was a deterrent. It became. And so to me, the opportunities that he's creating on the court for a better flow of offense. I mean, are you seeing that? Or
absolutely, Christian. We said it when they got him, that he was going to be the difference, because listen, this team, Chris, the way it was set up, I didn't think it was going to win a championship. So they made the moves they made. They bring in him, they bring in Drew Holiday. And I still don't think, Chris, they're using Holiday to his full potential. And I think that'll come. I think that'll come. And listen, I know you're not a Jaylen Brown fan, but he's
been playing well. That's
what I was just going to say, Chris. He's been playing well. I'm going to give him his due. He's been playing well. Okay.
Well, Mark, he's been playing well with Porzingis. Those two are complimenting each other a lot better
more than Tatum.
I think so. I do.
Yeah. Interesting to something to watch moving forward. But Chris, to your point, if Porzingis was on the court against Golden State, that game wouldn't have been close, because the kid for Golden State, by the way, who I liked in the draft, the kid Jackson, he's like 6'9". He's not a rim protector, but he was getting rebounds because you had nobody under there.
Yeah.
So, but Porzingis, Chris, I want them all healthy. I want to see Christmas Day.
He just kind of made a glass against Sacramento. I got a little nervous there because he got an ankle.
He's made a glass, but I hope he plays Christmas Day, because I want to see the Celtics at full strength play LeBron. because I'm sick of this BS about the Lakers. The Lakers are a phony goddamn team.
The in-season
And-
tournament champions.
Yeah, okay, that nonsense, nonsense, right? Like the late Kobe Bryant used to say, we ain't hanging no Western Conference championship banner up here. It's about the trophy, and that's all it's about. He would have laughed at that in-conference nonsense.
Yeah,
That in-season tournament, Kobe Bryant would have laughed at that. He would have said, what the hell is this?
Yeah. So
that's the difference.
So James, hey, listen, hang in there with them just a little bit longer. He does know his stuff. Let's see if we can clean up the end of the game stuff, and let's keep Porzingis healthy. So Heated Hotline was presented by Corso Law Group, CorsoLawGroup.com. Hey, when we come back, we're going to welcome in the nation, Pat's Nation, right after this.
No one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. Whether it's a traffic ticket or more serious issue, talk with these expert attorneys. CorsoLawGroup.com.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. So, Mark, 6 p.m. Eastern, Christmas Eve, the Patriots travel to Denver to Mile High and take on the Denver Broncos, who, by the way, are fighting for a playoff spot.
They're fighting for. They can't lose another game, Chris. They got to win out if they want to get in.
They have to win them all. So they kick off at 6 p.m. Eastern. I've finagled and maneuvered my way to be here to watch that game on Christmas Eve. So, Mark, what do you make of this? I mean, the Patriots really can't win another game, can they? This year,
no,
they shouldn't.
Chris, if they didn't win that damn Pittsburgh game, we'd be sitting with the number 1 pick right now. By the way, just for the record,
go Carolina.
So Belichick can take the best offensive tackle on the board.
Go
number 1 pick.
Go Panthers. Go Panthers. So, Mark, offensively, but let's talk about this. I mean,
okay, so Chris,
offensively, what do you think?
So offensively, Chris, listen, I am going to say this. Zappi's got a problem because Denver's got a good defense. And I will say this. That place is a house of horrors for us. It's always been.
Oh.
Brady didn't like playing there. That crowd, if there's a mistake or an early turnover, you want to talk about Zappi will be finished. It'll get ugly. It'll be finished. Zappi's not going to go. Listen, Zappi's not going to go in there and beat them. Maybe, Chris, just maybe, they should utilize Ezekiel Elliott this week because they're going to need him. They're going to need to run the ball against this team.
Yeah.
Okay? And you're going to have to involve Demario Douglas, do some play action. But you're going to have to, Chris, in this game, I would use the opposite strategy. Not speed up like they tried to do against Kansas City. I would slow down and try to run the ball, play action. They run these 5 and 7 yard passes anyways, and that's fine. And continue to do that. Try to play mistake-free football. Because Denver isn't an offensive juggernaut, Chris. And maybe you have a shot 17-13. I don't know. That's the only shot they got, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I just don't think I don't know if O'Brien's hampered, is handcuffed, or he's just not a good play caller. But Zappi just can't. He's not going to get it done. So if you can't run the ball, yeah, you're in trouble in this game. But on the other side, Mark, Denver, they were pretty much left for dead, this team.
Yep.
But Peyton had a plan. He had a plan. And what he's done with Russell Wilson, I got to tell you, it's a damn good job because he's taken Wilson and he's changed them. Wilson was a big play threat. He was a big play throw guy. A lot of those moon balls down the sidelines to Lockett and guys like that over in Seattle. He's changed his game. He is a check down guy. He is a short yardage guy. I mean, look, he threw the ball last week. He threw 32 times. He was only 18 to 32, but his long, and I can't find the long, but the long was not. It was not terribly long. He's not throwing those shots down the field anymore. He's taking what the defense gives him. They're trying to run the ball some, and now they're starting to see the plan work a little bit. It could have been real easy for that team to fold when they got 70 put up on them.
Yeah.
So I worry about the fact that they're going to want to run the ball against the Patriots. I think they're a good enough team skill-wise to see what Kansas City did last week and expose the middle of our defense again. So I see that happening again. I don't know what they're going to do at corner. Austin, I guess, is going to play again.
Well, they have to do
know.
something, Chris.
But the defensive front, the defensive front's going to have to continue to do what they do in stopping the run, setting the edges, and so on. I'm not really worried about Russell Wilson getting out in the pocket or anything of that. What I'm concerned about is the short stuff. I'm concerned about the crossers, rub routes, doing things to get guys open like the Kansas City did, and that will be the issue for the Patriots. And our defense will hang. Will our offense be able to help our defense? I don't think so. It's a 6.5-point spread, Mark. What do you think?
Yeah.
Denver's favored, of course.
31-13 Denver. Not because our
you love
defense
this
is
31 number, don't you?
I do. I like the number. Okay, what do you want me to say? I do.
I don't know.
But I am going to say this, Chris. Because Denver will get the defense will get a couple of turnovers on Zappe this week, maybe even a pick six, but they'll set their offense up on short fields because I don't think our defense will play that bad, but they're going to score 31 points because of their defense, 31-13.
Yeah, listen, I agree. I think that I think Zappe's going to turn the ball over a little. I think he's too confident for his ability at this point, in my opinion. And I'm not sure if that confidence is a mask for the nervousness. I'm not sure, or his lack of ability.
Chris, we don't know about Hunter Henry.
No, that's right. We don't know if he's going to play. And if he doesn't play,
and that's his security blanket. So that's a problem.
That's a real problem. And if they don't move him around, if they don't move Zappe around and they just let him sit in that pocket and get balls batted down all day, I think it's going to be a long night. I really do. I will say that I don't think the team has checked out, at least defensively.
No, defensively,
they're still playing for him.
They're playing,
but I still see this as a loss.
Or are they playing for each other? That's a separate question for next week, not for this week. For next week,
that's a question for another day. So to me, Denver wins this game. I like the 24 number. I'm always saying
you love 24.
No, you know what? I think this is going to be a low-scoring, fall-asleep kind of game on Christmas Eve, and I think you're going to see like a 17-13 Denver win.
Okay.
Is what you're going to see in this game. So speaking of point spreads and speaking of locks of the week, we weren't, but we're going to now in Sunday spread. So Mark, let's talk about it. Last week, not too bad.
No, not too bad.
I had a couple of wins last week. What do you have? What do you got? Make the people get some back.
I like Miami minus the 1 at home against Dallas. I think that December of what Dallas typically does with McCarthy is starting to happen because of the schedule they now have. They're going to juggernaut the next few weeks. So I like Miami minus the 1 at home. I like them a lot at home, minus the 1. And I'm going to tell you somebody else I like, Chris. I think they got healthy last week, and they're going to go in and they're going to play well again this week. I like Detroit, believe it or not, on the road minus the 3. Believe it or not, I think Detroit now is getting their second wind. They straightened themselves out last week at home, and I think Detroit will roll this week as well. And if you want a third team, a Christmas present for you,
don't take mine.
San Fran at home.
Okay, right.
Baltimore is a phony team.
Well, we'll see what they can do in that against that defense, because if they can shut down Lamar Jackson, he can shut down that running game. They shouldn't have any problem beating them and beating them big. Meaning San Fran. To me, I had the Dallas-Miami game too. I had Miami. I like that. I saw it as a 1.5, but maybe it's a point now. Indy at Atlanta. Indy's getting 1. Burt Reynolds, man. Burt Reynolds.
Well, now we grew a beard. You don't look like Burt Reynolds anymore.
Gardner Minshew is going to go in there. He's going to take care of things. I don't think it's going to be close. And again, like I said, bet in game. Pay attention to the games. Pay attention to what's happening. You can feel the scores coming. Throw some parlays in there. Maybe some prop bets. Elliott's always good for a nice little prop bet too. Ezekiel Elliott, if you're interested in that Patriots game.
Definitely is.
So those are my locks of the weekend for everybody out there. Gentlemen, you guys have a wonderful, happy, and healthy holiday.
Oh, say it like you mean it.
Yeah, what was that?
Come on. I'm being a little somber and thoughtful.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Oh,
and
come on.
to all of you out there, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, anything you celebrate, please enjoy it and please be safe out there. Corso and Catone was presented by Corso Law Group, corsolawgroup.com. Hey, listen, get on, listen to all our shows, watch all our shows. They're up for you. Subscribe, give us that thumbs up. Come back next Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern. We're going to do a recap of the Patriots Denver game. We're going to talk about the New Year's Eve matchup with Buffalo, Celtics, Bruins, Catone's comments. Anything you bring to the table, we will be ready. We are Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. Happy holidays.
Now find Corso Catone on AM 790, The Score, iHeartRadio, iTunes, wherever you podcast. Or subscribe to the YouTube channel and catch the chaos every Saturday at noon.